Mind, 88.5 introduces an in depth program called Family Matters. Family Matters is a 1 hour program at 11 a.m. with Human Services family caseworker. Listen in for insights and detailed information on core topics such as the disciplining of the child, the integral involvement of men, and the empowerment of women in the family, parenting and associated laws, child and drug abuse, domestic violence, and teenage pregnancy. Call in to air your views and make your contributions on 459 7885 or 459 7888. Family Matters on 88.5 Sufre FM.
Good morning, listeners. Thank you once again for having us back today for Family Matters. I'm hoping today we could get persons calling in, actively contributing to our program. This morning we have a very important and interesting topic. Healthy living equates healthy living. Healthy eating, sorry, equates healthy living. And we have a special guest this morning. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself to you and a little more on our topic this morning. So over to you, nurse.
Hi. Okay, good morning. I am Shirliann Eloise. I am the Public Health Nursing Supervisor for Region 6, that is all the facilities, the health facilities in Soufre and Choiseul. And of course, I'm here today with Miss
Bondiemaitre.
Bondiemaitre, very interesting surname, um, to discuss healthy eating equates healthy living. And this topic is very, very important. It is timely, and a lot of research is showing how important it is, especially in the times that we're living. Okay.
Great. So, as Nurse said, that our topic is very timely because we just had World Diabetes Day, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nurse, where St. Lucia is deemed as one of the countries with the highest rate of diabetes. Is that correct?
It is definitely correct. We are very much up there as it relates to diabetes per capita.
And why do you think so?
Of course, it's because of our unhealthy lifestyle. A lot of it I will see it may be contributed to lack of knowledge. We have a very big issue, and it may be related to the reason why we have the high amounts. So it could be finances. We eat what we have. So yes, these are two of the main reasons that we're seeing the the high numbers in diabetes in St. Lucia.
Okay. I want to speak into a gym instructor from overseas, and he said to me that, we in St. Lucia always believe that if we don't have our ground provision, that we have not eaten, and we eat a high amount of starch. And that is in high contribution, of course, it gives the carbohydrates, and the intake of that actually contributes to diabetes and so on. Is he correct on that?
I would love to agree with him because he is very correct. I am not saying do not eat your ground provisions, but I am saying that there's a certain amount that you should be eating. Okay? So, yes, you can eat it. It doesn't have to be every day, and it does not have to be a big amount. Okay? So, portion sizing is very, very important. Okay?
Okay. So when you say portion sizes, because we want the audience to understand, and this is why when I come here, I don't go into all terms because I want to reach my audience.
Agreed,
So,
agreed,
so
agreed.
we want to use our layman terms as much as possible. So when we talk about our portion sizes, give us an idea as to how much is reasonable or how much is required basically for us.
Okay, well, with everything, you need to have a certain amount. So, if it's breadfruit season, persons tend to eat breadfruit as the main
Yes,
carbohydrate.
you like the
Yes.
breadfruit.
So, we're not telling you to eat a whole breadfruit. Okay? We're asking you to eat one quarter of the breadfruit. So a torch boape. Okay,
Okay.
yes, a torch boape is enough to feed you, enough to give the body enough sugar for it to function. Okay, so you do not need the whole breadfruit. All right. Every food, like, and it depends on the size of the breadfruit too. So it would be good for our audience to come to our health fairs so that we do these demonstrations and we show you at our health fair. So it would be
You
very
should have really
important.
brought a breadfruit this morning.
So it's very important for you to attend our health fairs and to come to the hospital so we can show you these things. Okay, because every breadfruit is different, every dashin is different. We know what you love and we want to work with you.
Okay. And I'm happy to hear that you say about the sugar because some persons are of the belief that if something is not sweet, it does not contain sugar. So you talk about the breadfruit and you talk about the dashin. These foods are not sweet yet they contain sugar. So give us some more information on that. Nurse. Not everything that is sweet, not everything that is not sweet does not contain sugar.
Okay, so basically, at the end of it all the processes that goes on in our bodies, at the end of it all, when the carbohydrate breaks down, it breaks down into simpler sugars. So not because it doesn't start with something being sweet, but when it breaks down, this is what it breaks down because of the processes that takes place in our bodies.
So tell us, Nurse, what food or foods do you think we should take more of instead of all the ground provisions and all the proteins, the meat? We like our ground provision, a lot of chicken back and a lot of pork. So tell us what foods we should be taking in more of instead of all our ground provisions and so on.
Um, we, of course, our fruits and vegetables, our green leafy vegetables, our lettuce, our yellow vegetables like our pumpkins, all of these things, our lentils, they should make up the bigger portion of our plate. Okay, so more fruits, more vegetables, and you do not have to eat. We like to do things the old way. And I like that. If you see our young people advertise their products now, it is so creative. So we could use our creativity to eat our foods if we like to see our food looking attractive. So you're supposed to have 3, 4 servings of fruits for the day. You don't just have to put your one little banana in on your bowl in your bowl and eat it. You can eat it with your yogurt, you can make a parfait, you can do something with it. Okay, so this is going to fill you longer, so you don't have to eat more. I don't know if
Okay, thank you for that. I was listening to Eunice, and yes, I know that you have to eat more of your vegetables more than anything else, your green leafy vegetables and your fruits, but especially your vegetables. And I was just thinking of my dad, and my dad always tells my mother, "Ma beef, ma So, in situations like that, especially for the older folks, and you even find the younger ones, the children, they do not like to eat the vegetables. How can you encourage them to eat? And also, I notice sometimes what my mom does, she would cook the cabbage, she will boil it. So it will be like more of a, not boil, sorry, but steam it. Like he would eat the steamed veg so that it doesn't look raw. Do you think that's a good practice? And if it's not, how can you encourage persons to eat their vegetables?
I I have not seen any research that says it's a bad practice. However, like I mentioned earlier, we need to find creative ways. You are It's very difficult for you to do A, B, C, D, and A plus B does not always equate C. Sometimes you have to work around that for you to find ways and means for that to work for you, for any way for the equation to be equal to C. So this is where, like I said earlier, the young people have become very creative
Creative,
in
yes.
selling their product. So this is where you have to think outside of the box and try to get all different ways to get persons to eat vegetables. We have, how you call them, nutrition,
Nutritionist.
yes, nutritionists and dietitians who may help you come up with a plan, how to eat, how to prepare different things. In some cases, our nutrition officer, she would cook with you. Okay,
Okay.
yes. So she would have groups, so different groups would come together and then she'd show them how to prepare simple meals. So, persons who did not know they could create this with the carrot, they could do this with the cabbage. And then, she'd show them different ways. They're inexpensive and you already have the products at home. Again, I encourage you to visit your wellness center for you to learn all of these things. You don't have to eat the green fig and the chicken backs just like that. You can find all other ways to be creative and eat it smaller portions. Does not The big plate does not equate. It does not the full tummy. You could have your with adding your vegetables. It makes your belly fill as well. Okay.
Definitely. Because even myself, as an example, I grew up with my parents giving me huge plates of food, with my, of course, ground provisions, and because that's basically our diet. I would say generally in St. Lucia, especially in the countryside, parents love to cook their ground provision. If you have not cooked it, they have not cooked food.
Yes, and this is what they
So
had too.
yes, so then it was quite encouraging when I had a plate of my vegetables, my salad, and a piece of fish just to go with it, and I ate it, and I was surprised to see how well it kept me. I was not hungry for a little while and so on. So we have the misconception, like you were saying this, that if we don't have a huge plate of food, that it will not fill us, it will not keep us, but it does. And along with our food, something very important, we love to drink our juice, a big glass of cold juice with our food. Tell us about that, nurse.
Okay. We do not need the juice. Um, but I'm going to tell you, if you're going to drink your juice, drink juice that is preferably homemade. Okay, so you control what goes in there. All right, so a glass of juice with your food is not necessary. Okay, to me, that's a meal on its own. You could have it sometime during the day if you please, but to have it with your meal, that is too much for the stomach.
Okay. And you water is welcomed. Instead of the juice, you can substitute the juice for the water, and water is very healthy. And what I'm realizing, many people, even the children, don't drink enough water. I was reading something, where it says that the older you are, especially when you're in your 40s, your 50s, you need to drink even more water to keep yourself hydrated, because you get dehydrated even faster
Yes.
than the younger persons. Is that correct?
That is very correct. I believe that we should instill these healthy habits into our children very, very young. Okay, and I am very happy to see that the preschools they encourage it. So your child does not come to school with water. They will let you know, hey, today your daughter did not have water. They may go ahead and give your child the water, but they let you know the importance of water because the children they're very active, they become dehydrated very quickly, and you're setting them up for life. Okay, that is very important. Not only nutrition wise, in all other aspect, water helps.
Definitely. And I was just reading an article about persons want to remain healthy, but they do not want to do what it takes to remain healthy. So, for instance, if the doctor says do not drink alcohol, persons feel like they will die without alcohol. But that is not necessary. That is not so. I was about to say necessary. That is not so. Okay, I know we in St. Lucia like our alcohol, but it can be hazardous to our health.
Yes, it is hazardous to our health. Persons who really want to stop, because you can say what you want, you can provide persons with the information that they need, and if they do not want to stop, there is nothing that will make them stop. what we can do, we can try to understand where they're coming from and probably encourage them to reduce on the amounts gradually. Okay, so if you are drinking I don't know, how do you measure alcohol? 5 cups of alcohol during the day. Maybe you could start with four until you go down to one until you know you do not want it anymore. Okay, but addiction is a hard thing. But um, yes,
We have a comment here from Miss Gloria Leo. Thank you for joining in. And Ina Simon, thank you so much. Miss Leo is saying that our grandparents ate only the ground provision and nothing else, and they lived 96 and beyond. This is quite true, and we are not saying that ground provisions are not healthy. We're saying to eat it in moderation because right now everything is different than it used to be before. How much fertilizer was used before as compared to now? How much chemical was in that ground provision before as it is in it now? So we have to look at long ago vis-a-vis now. What was happening back then? You used to leave your meat out, salt it, and leave it out for so long and then come back, and there was not much of anything happening to it.
you
But
cannot do that
now when you
now.
do that, let me tell you, you can get your leptospirosis and so much just by doing that practice. Okay, so if you realize that the diseases we have now are even more complicated and we don't even know where it's coming from, because of course there's so much more chemicals all over the place as opposed to before. So we're encouraging persons to eat your green vegetables, your green leafy vegetables. I remember this gentleman who told me that he never had diabetes. He was never diagnosed with diabetes, and once he sat home and ate a plate of ripe plantain. That's what he had. And he ate a full plate of ripe plantain, enjoyed his ripe plantain. And soon after he ate his ripe plantain, after it was digested and all, he started to feel sick. So he was wondering what is going on with him to the point of him feeling like, he's going to collapse. So he had to be rushed to the hospital. What do you think happened?
Maybe the sugar must
His
high.
sugar was sky
Yes.
high. His sugar was sky high. I'm not saying that the plantain caused it, but I'm saying it attributed to it, right?
Yes, your explanation was beautiful, and I just need to add that yes, these persons lived longer before. However, we also did not have a lot of testing, and that is one of the reasons we known for the high levels of numbers of diabetes in, well, per capita in the world, and it's because we do a lot of testing now. Okay, especially with our PBF program, where we do testing for the sugar, cholesterol, and all of these things. So we're diagnosing more persons now. Okay, so these persons had no symptoms whatsoever. For some, there might have been family history, but for those without the family history, they were well individuals, unknown to them, you know. So
Okay.
it could be because of the testing we have all of these high
Yeah.
numbers.
Also, I remember speaking with a nurse, and she was saying that sometimes it's not only efficient to do the prick of the finger because it's not always.
Yes, because like okay, say for example that day you ate well and you came to test, it would have been good. Yesterday you ate well, day before yesterday you ate well. So today you come to test your sugar, of course it's okay. So what we're doing, the test that we're doing, the HbA1c, it gives an average of what your blood sugar would have been for the past 3 months.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have to pay for this?
Oh no, you do not have to pay for it. So it's every Friday at Suffolk Hospital, every Wednesday at La Fag, every other Friday at Force Jacques, every other Monday at over there, Delse,
I was sure she said over there.
first and third. First and third Tuesday at Etangs and second and fourth Tuesday at Magouge.
Okay, so If you cannot remember all these dates, just come to the Sufra Hospital
Oh,
on
yes.
Fridays, every
Yes,
Friday.
every Friday. We
Okay.
would prefer that you do not eat as we want to do the cholesterol for you as well.
Okay. And it's free of charge,
It is
everyone.
free.
Okay.
So let me just add a little. Yes, so we test, we do the renal function test. So we test we do the kidney test, we do the liver test, we test the urine as well, and you get a complete blood count. So all of that is free. So
It's free. I will definitely be going to the Super Hospital on Friday. So, folks, please ensure that you check on your health, especially you men out there. Please go to the hospital and get checked out.
oh,
Okay?
let me add something.
Go ahead.
Oh, so we also have something for the men. So you know of the men's health clinic. So it's coming. They're relaunching the men's health clinic. So it's coming out bigger. It's coming out better. So they will be doing the PSA for free. So the blood test for the
What is
prostate
P?
cancer.
Okay, sure.
Yes, so that will be done for free and a whole lot of other things. So you'll be seen by a specialist doctor as well. So they're really coming out to get our men to
And
come
when will
in for
that
the
be?
testing. So it's starting December.
In December.
Yes.
So more information will be given on that.
Yes.
Okay, so men, you are being taken care of. You're not forgotten. Okay, very good. All right, so nurse, let us go into one of the topics that I really wanted to discuss, and that's our children and what we feed them and how it affects them at school, at home, and otherwise. Okay, let's talk about the foods that we feed our children with.
Okay. Yes. So of course, we like to get what is readily available. And what is readily available is not necessarily what is the healthier choice for our children. And you know, our children, they're the future. And we have to take our time to provide them with what is necessary for their growth. You know, they are children, they are growing, and they need all the nutrients that is necessary for their growth. Okay? So we tend to get them the sweets, things that are high in sugar, high salt content, all of these things. So the corn kernels, the even the juices. What else do we give them?
We give them the icicles and the lollipops
Oh
and the
yes.
conkers and the cheese balls, even the cool kids juices and all these. We give them that. Okay, and not enough fruits. And when we talk about fruitsness, do we talk about going to Massy and getting the apples and the grapes only?
No. We produce a lot of fruits in St. Lucia, and it's very important that we support local because we know where it is coming from. If we were to read on the process of storing, preserving, and all of these things, we would not get the apples and the grapes that we get. So we support local. We support local, and
good. Thank you so much. My apologies for that. Technical difficulties. So, we were talking about what we feed to our children. And of course, we mentioned some of the foods. And parents, don't get me wrong, I'm a parent as well. Sometimes, nurse, the fruits that we talk about are not readily available, especially the local ones.
Yes.
And also, you want to give the children some golden apple and some guava to go to school, and what they'll tell you is that, Mommy, these things are for home, not for the school. So it's the apples and the grapes that's for school. But like you said earlier, Nurse, that we can become creative in how we give our children, how we present it to them. So we can cut the fruits up and put the yogurt in it, which I've tried, and it's very tasty. So instead of giving the children a whole golden apple, what we can do is to peel it, size it nicely, and put it into their bowls and so on.
Yes, and you know now everywhere has these really cute shape cutter things, the cookie cutters where you can make the
Right.
designs with it. I also believe that introducing the children to these fruits, our local fruits, very early, it sets the tone for them. So if you give them a lot of, okay, I don't want anybody to take my head, but a lot of the times we think that giving them what is from overseas is a better choice, makes you look like you have money, okay, and that kind of thing. But local, I have a very picky toddler. However, because she was introduced to the more local fruits, I do give her apples and grapes when I do not have a choice. Does she bring it back? Yes. But she's going to eat the guava. She's going to eat the golden apple. You will never see a watermelon seed come back. Okay, so she prefers the local because she was introduced to the local first. Okay.
Okay. So you said a watermelon seed. Do we eat the watermelon seed?
No.
Oh,
um the nutrition officer from Viva told me yes. It helps with potency.
we need to give that information out there. So say that again, nurse, for the benefit of the meals.
Okay, so I was informed once I will do further research.
Right.
Yes, I will do further research that the watermelon seed can be eaten as it helps with any potency issues.
Great information. Yes. So we welcome that information. So yes. Okay. So I'm asking, the amount of sugar in a child's diet, does it affect this child's attitude?
It does. It affects it significantly. I
Okay.
cannot stress how much it affects your child's cognition and everything. Research has shown, and nutrition psychiatry is a new field of medicine, and the research, it's not plenty. However, what they have come out with, it is so significant that I find it was a bit scary, really, because one of the few things what stood out for me is the way the blood vessel in the brain shrinks because of the amount of sugar that a child processes. So the more sugar the child takes in, the brain is unable to process like it should. So you have all of the irritability, the behavioral issues. So children acting out, the hyperactivity, all of these because of the sugars being high, because the brain is unable to process it. It does not make the brain function the way that it should.
Okay. So you're saying that sometimes when you realize a child is hyperactive, it means that the sugar content in the blood have contributed to that hyperactivity.
Yes. I mean, it's just, okay, so based on experience, it's just a few numbers, but I think it's important, it's significant. Some children, they were, acting out. They were, in some cases, they were lethargic, and they were tired, they were sleepy, they were restless, they were not paying attention. And then we decided, okay, let's just the parents brought them in and we say, okay, let's check the blood sugar. The blood sugar was high.
Yes, parents, please take note. All right. So we getting some comments here from Novak. Before ground provisions were grown chemical free, but now due to mass production, the farmers grew their crops with all sorts of chemicals, which is very true. And we have plenty local fruits. We can put it in our children's lunch kits. Example, pawpaw, guava, golden apples, cherries, watermelon, sour sop, ripe banana, oranges. Thank you so very much, Mr. Novak. That is so true. All right. And he says that my son eats all local fruits, and it's how you present it to them. And it's very true because this is exactly what we were saying,
Yes.
that if you just take a banana, sometimes you don't even peel it and just put it in their lunch bags, then the children will bring it back for you.
And
But like Miss was saying, if you take the cutters and you put do your little star, you do your little orange like whatever, they may see it and eat it. It looks more like gummy bears than right?
yes.
So, parents, I'm happy that Nurse is here with us right now to speak about how sugar affects our children. So, sometimes we are quick to diagnose our children, okay, and say, I think that child have ADHD, and I think this child has this, and I think this child has that, only to realize this, it is what we feed them is the sugar intake. Okay, most of the time, I'm not saying that children don't suffer with certain
You
conditions.
are right.
Right. I'll let the experts speak more on that.
Yes, I think you've basically covered it. A lot of the times we may think that it is something else, but it's simple. It's very simple. Nutrition plays a very very big role. Like I said, it sets the tone. If you feed your child junk food, it's not going to help with your child's growth and development. Okay, your child may stay behind. I'm not saying this happens in all cases, but based on what the research is saying, the children who are likely to not be fed nutritious items, and you know, if it's not nutritious, the salt content is high, the sugar content, sorry about that, is high as well. Okay, and of course, if you have a child who is not developing well, who you have a child whose brain is being affected, then you start to have all of the issues that we see today. Okay.
So parents are not saying, although it would be best not to feed them whatsoever with the cheese balls and the conkers, but we know the situation that sometimes you try. I'm a parent too, and I'm speaking from a parent's point of view. That sometimes you do try to get the local fruits and even our vegetables, because not only do you get the fruits, but you can also use your vegetables, like cut the carrots in the carrot
The
sticks
sticks.
and the cucumber, cut it up. The children do eat
Yes, the
all
stick.
that.
Yes.
So if you are to give maybe your child some cheese balls or so, get a Ziploc, get a little container, give it in moderation, give them a small amount, because the more of this they eat, like you heard Nurse, that it would increase hyperactivity and everything else. And some children are allergic to the cheese and all the processing that is being used to do these foods. And of course, you start seeing the skin, and we jump and see they have eczema. We do our own diagnosis, not realizing that.
I am laughing because it's true. I have a 2-year-old and we cannot give her these things because she breaks out and she break out really bad. And I can't see my nice child with things on her skin. So I try my best to give her the healthier and the better choice. So, we're saying do not give your child this, and you may be saying, okay, so what are the options? This is what we have available. So I am happy that Miss
Body image.
Bodimaitre, let me tell you, I love this surname, but I cannot seem to get it. Um, what was I saying, Father? Okay, so we're saying that there are other food that are nutritious that are available. So if you cannot get it, you can reduce on the amount that you're giving your child. That is very, very, very important. And your child not going to serve at school. And your child may not even have time to eat at school. They're
Yeah.
so active.
And something else I noticed that parents do, we parents do, I'm speaking, I'm putting myself in it, we parents do. We may not give our child a bottle of water, but we'll give them two juices, right? And these days, especially when it's very hot, and you find at sometimes, especially after lunch, we talk about having their what is the term I'm looking for? After you've eaten and you start feeling sleepy,
Ethnic fatigue.
okay? Well, that term, but I was looking for the layman term for it. Where you, pardon? Niggeritis, right? Thank you so much. It's niggeritis. So you see the child and they say, "Oh, it's just niggeritis," and you're doing something. You're doing something. Oh. Okay. So yes. So then you say, okay, niggeritis, and it's only sometimes the child may be dehydrated. They don't have water. Tell us a little more about how water, what the importance of water to children, and children too can be dehydrated. Yes. Even if they've had the juices, but how important it is to have water.
Okay. So of course water is important and it helps us to stay awake. That is important because it helps with all of the processes that goes on in the body. So you do not have a concentration of
Okay, they troublesome and they don't behaving and so on. And sometimes through our ignorance we are contributing to that. So now that we know, we have to ensure that we give the children very little, especially toddlers, especially the toddlers. Does it have, is there an age limit, or is it across the board that sugar does the same to everyone?
okay, so they have not, like I said, this issue has been around for a very long time. However, it is only now they're putting the effort into research and studies to get more, to get the necessary information for them to do the adjustments. From what I saw, it was from age 5 that the research started with. But they're also saying that it can affect the younger children.
Okay, great. All right, there you have it,
But
folks.
just to add, all of this information, you can get it when you visit our child health clinics. Okay, so if you do not understand what we're saying here, or you're still unsure of what we're saying here, you can visit our health facilities in the region, and of course you will get a very helpful nurse to give you all of that information and more.
Okay. Question is, how often do the nutritionists, we speak about our region, we stick to what we know.
Yes.
The nutritionists would go out to maybe the schools and be invited to parents' meetings and come to speak when they have the doctor's visits and so on. How often does the nutritionist interact with the public to educate them on all these issues?
Okay, so the nutritionist is assigned to each facility at least 3 times for the month. She also is supposed to if she sees the need to go to a facility more than what she has on schedule, then that is an option. She is I am not sure how often she goes to the school. However, I know sometimes the PTAs they make their requests.
Okay.
Okay, so she also does, she's also at the outreaches, but she does not in our region. She does not only work in our region, so she works in part of region 7, part of region 5. So that's the Canaries Ancillary and the Viewfort Library area. Okay, and of course I know she gives our patients her number so they can reach her.
Okay, that's awesome. So there you have it, folks, where we have the nutritionists on board, we have the nurses on board. So even if sometimes they don't come to the schools, which of course we understand they have a lot of work, the region is wide, you too can reach out to them. Okay? And the foods we eat affects how we live. So we need to eat a balanced diet.
Very, very important.
Explain to us what is a balanced diet? How can it help us? Yes.
Okay, so basically, food's in the right proportion. However, it is not standard. What what is a balanced diet for me may not necessarily be what applies for you. Okay, so you may need more legumes, you may need more, but it's food from all the food groups, so not excluding any of the food groups in the right proportion. Okay, so now they're taking it a bit further. So based on your BMI, you get your balanced diets. Okay, so it may not necessarily be what you knew before.
Okay. So if you're suffering, maybe you on the borderline for say diabetes and hypertension and so on, what are some of the foods you should stay away from?
Of course, our very starchy foods like dasheen and breadfruit. So this is what we have. So of course we're asking you, if this is only what you have, to eat very little and increase your vegetables. Okay. So our sodas, they are more readily available than the limes. So just recently, I saw Dr. Ajuda, Aaron Ajuda. He posted on TikTok. We have a lot of resources, and he was doing some of our local, what we have at our local supermarkets, the sugar content. So I think I may be wrong, but he said that soft drinks, he had Sprite and Coke, 17 and a half teaspoons of sugar. I don't know, that's it.
Yes.
Yes. So if you're already borderline, you do not want to consume so much sugar from just this small amount of liquid that you're drinking, this fluid that you're drinking. So of course you stay away from anything that has a high sugar content. And it's very important that you do food label, you read your labels. Okay.
Okay.
So what you think may not have sugar, it has sugar. The salt content may be very high. And because we're so accustomed to consuming foods that are high in sodium that when it's taken away from us, we think, that is an issue. But gradually, you get rid of these bad habits, these bad foods gradually.
Can you name one food? And I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying that because let me tell you, my children like it. I know it's not good, but one food that children really like eating, fried, boiled, always, that is really not good for them.
Sausage.
Say it loud. Yes.
So the sausage.
Sausage. Right. So I have done some research, and parents, you can do your research as well. Adults do your research as well. That sausage is really not healthy for our children, neither for us. Okay. So and something else when we are cooking, We seem to think that, without the cube and the bohio and the magin,
I don't know. I don't use
you
it.
know, and the you know, all your seasoning salts and so on, the food won't have any taste. But if you put the right amount of onion and garlic in your food and salt, your food is good to go. So the less seasoning you use with all your GMOs and whatever else that is not good for you. So if I said it wrong, sorry, but I know, correct me this. All right? What is wrong? What is not right? What is not healthy for you in the seasonings?
You did.
Okay, I said it correct. So you do your research, people. The information is out there. You can just use your phone and go to the mic if you cannot type it and speak into it to Alexia. Alexia answers, right? And Alexia will tell you, or you could put in your mic, ask your question, your mic will speak to you and tell you what foods are not good for us and so on, and it speaks back to you. So if you cannot type or you cannot read, the phone can speak to you. So research is at your fingertip. Please do a lot of research. It's not like before, when ignorance causes us a lot. That before, when we were not aware of what was happening and we had no way of getting the information. Now information is at our fingertips. So people, please ensure that you eat healthy, you do your regular checkups. What we eat makes us who we are and how we are. And some people tend to think that, do you think that genetics have it's one of the reasons why persons look the way they are or have um, some of the illnesses that they have in us?
Genetics plays a role. I would say yes. However, last night I was challenged by my sister. Yes, so she's into nutrition and she's a food teacher. So she told me new research, I have not seen it. She said new research shows that genetics does not play a role. If it's our lifestyle that plays the role in, because if we do not do what we know traditionally, we will not end up with what we have right now. So that made me think a lot last night. But from what I know, genetics does play a role, but I need to find out what is new.
Okay. And there's always new research coming in, and this is why we have to keep reading. I would want to agree to some extent
Yes.
that genetics play a role, because it is again, we have our metabolism, and whether somebody's metabolism is
It's
high
high.
or low would determine how quickly that food you eat is processed or not processed. So sometimes you may see that nurse here eats a huge plate of food and she remains nice, slim, and trim. And on the other hand, I eat just one slice of food and my chicken and I'm busting up.
Yes, you just have to
So you,
smell it.
right. And you're wondering what is going on here. Why is she eating more than I am eating? And I'm the one getting bigger and bigger, and she remains the size that she remains. Okay. And of course, it has to do with our metabolism and the makeup of our body. And this is why I'm saying partly that I think that our genes have something to do with some of the things that we experience health
Yes.
wise.
Yes. But our lifestyle also contributes significantly. I agree.
90%.
I agree
Right.
with both sides of the coins. Yes.
Yes, 90%. That our lifestyle has a lot to do with, in fact, it has everything to do with how we are. And as we're on nutrition and health, I realize there is a trend among young people that if they're not drinking or smoking, they're not in it. Talk to us a little on drinking, the alcohol and the smoke. What can it do to your body? Some of the effects of alcohol and smoke on our bodies, drinking and smoking.
Alcohol and smoking. Of course, we know that the smoking affects our lungs and we have a lot of young persons with chronic like, COPD. Okay, so what you know as COPD, the difficulty breathing. So you have increased cancers. And I remember a few years ago, tobacco was a public health concern. So imagine something as simple as smoking and it becomes a public health concern. Okay. It affects your teeth, it affects your fingers, everything's affected. Your memory is affected. You see, when you drink alcohol, you don't know what you're doing. You cannot function like you would normally do. People, persons will take advantage of you. It just does a lot of harm to your body. I would like to sit here and go on about all the ills of alcohol
Alcohol.
and smoking and what I have seen, but it's a lot.
Okay. And again, we're not saying that you cannot take in alcohol, but in
Moderation.
moderation. Okay, you don't abuse it, you don't take too much of it. Because, like we said earlier, it is not only sweet things that contain sugar. Because we are of the belief that it's only sweet things that contain sugar. So when you drink a beer, it is not sweet, it doesn't have sugar. When you drink our rum, the white rum and so on is not sweet, it doesn't have sugar. Alcohol contains a lot of sugar. Am I correct, Nurse?
You are so correct.
Yes.
You are so correct.
So far today we are learning that sugar is very hazardous to our health. So
Yes.
we need to control the intake of sugar in our bodies and also salt, but more so our sugar level. All right. So we have Miss Eudoxia who says knowledge is power, and when provided to people in ways they can understand, they will try and do what's best. Thank you for that. And of course, this is why we try our best to keep it very simple that will reach the public. Okay. We have Mr. Jan Di Koto. Hello, I'm not being funny. I was in St. Lucia. I went into a few restaurants in Castries, and when asked about the menu, I was told chicken and fries only. Where's our green figs and fish bread and saltfish sandwich? Well, I am not sure what restaurants you went in, but I know out the majority of our restaurants do provide our grand provisions and they do provide a balanced meal. So I'm not sure where you went, sir, but when you do come to St. Lucia, you'll have to explore some more restaurants. And restaurant owners, if you are hearing me, please provide more variety because, of course, we know the chicken and the fries. Fries has a lot of oil, which is very fatty. It can increase our cholesterol levels and so on. Am I correctness? I'd like to have my nurse here to verify everything I say.
You are right. You are right.
Okay, so there you have it. Any last words to our listeners? Can you please review what you said with the clinics and where they are being held, the days and the locations, please,
Okay. All right. So for
and what is
our
offered? Sorry.
oh yes, so for our under our PBF how I saw it under our PBF project where we do testing for diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, we offer free testing for the HbA1c for cholesterol. For sugar, we do the lipid profile for the cholesterol, the renal function test, that's for the kidney, liver function test. We check the CBC, so we check your blood count, if the iron high, if it low. We check the urine for any bacteria, for any ketones, for any sugar as well. We also do some form of counseling. And that service, it's available at Soufrière Hospital every Friday at Fort Jacques, first and third
Sorry,
Friday.
what times?
Oh, we start from 8. However, the persons from the lab, St. Jude's lab, they come for around 9. Yes, so every first and third Friday at Fort Jacques, first and third Tuesday at Etangs, second and fourth Tuesday at Magouge, first and third Monday at Delce, and every Wednesday at Lafargue.
Okay, so every Wednesday at Lafag from say from 9
from
to
9 to 11.
Oh, only 11. I thought it was a whole day.
It's not a whole day because they're coming in there fasting.
Okay.
So because of the length of time they would have been fasting for, the cutoff is at 11.
11.
Yes.
Okay. So 9 to 11 in all the locations.
All the locations it ends at 11. So they may come earlier. However, this is what is practiced worldwide. They end at 11.
Okay. So you have every Fridays at the Super Hospital.
Yes.
Every Wednesdays at our
Lafag.
Lafag Wellness Center. When is Eaton's?
First and third Tuesday of the month.
The first and third Tuesday of the month. Okay. And for Jacques,
First and third Friday.
first and third Friday at Force Jacques. And Delse,
First and third Monday.
first and third Monday, and Mogouj,
Second and fourth Tuesday.
second and fourth Tuesday. So if you have not gotten this information, please reach out to Sufre Hospital. That information is available, and other wellness centers around. I am sure they have the information available. So there you have it, people. I am kudos to you, the health persons out there who are really trying to assist. We know the challenges, especially the financial challenges with doing this test. They are very costly. I've done, especially the cholesterol test.
Yes.
It can be quite costly. So, and you are being given it free of charge. So, persons, please take advantage of that. And is it only adults or also children?
Okay, so 18 from 18 and above. But we have another project, Metabolic. It's from 15 years.
From 15.
Yes, we do the rapid for them.
Okay. So parents, only for you, not for your children. So at least some of the cost is taken off. All right. So please take advantage of these clinics and go in and be tested, especially our men. Go and get tested. All right. So lately, what I've realized is that a lot of persons, there's a lot of sudden death going around. So get yourself checked out, because you may look okay and there's something going on in there that you're not aware of. So always go and get your regular checkups, go and get yourself tested. Thank you again, nurse, for coming. It was, I would say that it was very informative, and I'm hoping that later on we can have the nutritionist come in to give us some more information. Any parting words, nurse?
I just want to thank you for having me on your program, and of course, visit us at the wellness centers so we can provide you with all the services that we have.
Okay, and she'll definitely be seeing me on Friday. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Yes.
Know your rights. You have the right to special education and care if you have a disability in this convention, so that you can live a full life.